And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We have a great show for you today, as always. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Takes by Fans to be a part of the conversation, and come watch live daily, noon Eastern at twitch.tv/takesbyfans, or go to our official website, takesbyfans.com. Go up to the watch tab. And whenever we are live on the website. Look at us go. We are live. So, however you decide to watch, just make sure you're watching for all your daily sports content. Alrighty, today is Tuesday, so we have to update our NFL cash and trash list, and we also have to update our NFL power ranking. So we will unveil our newly listed top 10. We do have one team moved up big, one team moved back a little bit, and is there a new team in the top 10? You'll just have to wait and find out. We will do that at the later at the end of the show, towards the end of the show. Alrighty, two quick things we've got to talk about first before we start breaking down Monday Night Football and previewing Game 4 of Lakers Heat of the finals tonight. So before we get into the sports action, let's talk about what happened yesterday and what broke, because some news broke. We'll get into it. Here we go. Bill O'Brien yesterday at about 5 o'clock. This man got the axe in. I mean, we called it. Yesterday on the show, we said that Dan Quinn and Bill O'Brien were on the hot seat, coming into week number 4. And then when they both lost those games, we said Bill O'Brien, he just needs to go. I mean, the Texans, they were supposed to be one of the top teams in the AFC. And, originally those first 2 weeks were tough, so we gave them a little bit of a break. Chiefs, Ravens, week 1 and 2. Can't get much more difficult than that. But then you had the Steelers, and you were competitive in the first half, but then that second half, shut out. You weren't able to put up any points. So once again, we kind of were giving you that benefit of the doubt, that free pass. All right, tough schedule early, tough defenses, tough offenses. I mean, you just faced the Super Bowl champions. You've got, the potential other Super Bowl caliber team in the Ravens as well, and then that stacked Steelers defense. So, all right, we can kind of forgive all that, but then you're at home week 4 against the Vikings, and the Vikings have absolutely no defense, and Kirk Cousins has been turning the ball over, and then you lose that game. You lose the one game that you should be circling on your calendars, like through that offseason, during that offseason when you're, looking at the schedule. That game should have been circled, highlighted, starred, and it should have been on the front door. It should have been in every locker room. Hey, we've got the Vikings at home week 4. We better make a statement, because it's not going to be, our record's not going to be looking so good through the first 4 weeks. So, hey, let's make a statement this game. But then they laid the egg. They laid a goose egg, and they let the Vikings put up 30 points, and I don't think Kirk Cousins turned the ball over at all, and everything was just clicking for the Vikings, and the Texans are now 0-4, and we're talking about, we're not even talking about Deshaun Watson. I don't think I've heard Deshaun Watson's name like once at all this season, just because they're losing. He's not making any great plays, no big highlights, getting drowned out by Patrick Mahomes, his greatness, Russell Wilson's greatness, Aaron Rodgers' newly found fantastic greatness. I mean, so Bill O'Brien definitely deserved to get the axe. Obviously, I don't want to see anybody lose their jobs, but in the grand scheme of coaching, you can't even be the coach. And not only was he the coach, he was basically the general manager for the Texans. He kind of had like Bill Belichick level clearance. I mean, they were just, Bill O'Brien, go ahead, draft who you want, trade who you want, make the deals, get whoever you want. And he didn't do that good. They've got no picks. They've got no first round or second round pick coming into the 2021 draft. They're all owned by the Dolphins, baby, the Big Fins. We were able to rob the Texans by sending them Kenny Stills and Laramie Tunsil. Okay, I'll take a first and second round pick for that. No worries there. So Bill O'Brien really kind of ruining this franchise just a little bit. Obviously, trading away DeAndre Hopkins was not the best route. I mean, they're 0-4 now, and DeAndre Hopkins, he's having success individually. His team is now 2-2, so not the greatest situation there either, but he's having great success. He's putting up like 100 yards a game. So he's having fun there in Arizona, and the Texans are now 0-4. Their offense is pretty talented. They've got some nice receivers. David Johnson's a good running back, and they've got a good quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Their defense is a little iffy still, but you've got to start blaming this on Bill O'Brien. His team is not ready to compete for a full 60-minute game every week. So Bill O'Brien out in Houston, and Dan Quinn. Last night, what was that? You only put up 16 points. Aaron Rodgers was cooking y'all all game. Dan Quinn, I would expect him to be fired today as well. Wait for this to break. Dan Quinn and Bill O'Brien, I think they both got to go. Bill O'Brien ended up getting fired yesterday. We called it on the show. I even highlighted it. If you go to my Twitter, we put out this little video. I don't have it queued up for sound at the current moment. But basically, in this video right here, this is from yesterday's show. If you were listening, we were like, coming into this week, Bill O'Brien, Dan Quinn, both on our radars, said Bill O'Brien had to go. He ends up getting fired yesterday. We call it here. We kind of know what we're talking about here on Takes by Fans. So, Bill O'Brien, we knew he should have been fired, and he is now officially out. Alrighty, so let's kind of shift to some good news. Coaches getting fired is not always good news. It might be good news for Texans fans. I think they all kind of wanted him out. So good news to the fans, bad news for the Bill O'Brien family. Unfortunate. But let's move to some good news all around. Tennessee Titans no longer testing positive for COVID-19. Absolutely fantastic. Today is the second straight day of no positive COVID-19 tests in the Titans organization, so they can potentially open up their training facility tomorrow. And now this is going to be great for this Titans-Bills game in Tennessee, that this is going to be pretty much played on schedule, barring any setbacks, obviously, knock on wood. But yeah, Titans looking good. And then there's also the Patriots, all the players that, were around Cam. Cam got the virus, but 3 days later, nobody is still testing positive in New England either. So very, very good signs. A little rocky there at the beginning of last week when all this COVID was coming out initially, but it has seemed to slow down a little bit, and it's really not we're not seeing it being transmitted between teams during games. We saw the Titans and Vikings face off. Titans ended up having a lot of positive cases, where Vikings are still testing negative every day, so that's good. And now we've got everybody around Cam Newton, and nobody on the Patriots besides Cam is testing positive, so that is very good. It's not spreading easily as we kind of all predicted it kind of would. I mean, you're breathing on each other. This is physical practice. You're tackling, you're spitting, you're coughing, you're wheezing all over these players. We thought it would kind of spread kind of fast and easy, but so far it hasn't. It's been really the opposite. It hasn't been spreading like wildfire, and teams are really containing it very well. So I was saying it all week, no need to panic. Let's see how this plays out. And so far, it's playing out very, very good. It's playing out very good. It's unfortunate for those that have caught it early. It sucks, but it's not spreading how we all thought it really would. Football being a very aggressive contact sport, you figure, it's going to spread, right? So it's not spreading. It's really not spreading at all. So very good signs. Something to kind of look forward to. A lot of silver linings in these COVID stories. So let's not, bail on the season just yet. Everything is, trending up. It's looking up. And as I say that, I will be knocking on wood. But yeah, I don't think we have anything really to worry about this week. I think week 5 is going to kind of go smoothly so far. Nothing's really came out yet. I think originally the Titans COVID stories broke on a last Wednesday, I believe. So let's see what tomorrow brings. Try to see if we can get through a full week cleanly. But Titans-Bills looks like it's going to be played on time. Looks like these Titans are going to be able to go back into their facilities, start training, start practicing, getting ready for their home game for Buffalo. So definitely positive sign that things are trending in the right direction. I can definitely get behind it. So just 2 quick stories before we get into the action. No game on yesterday in the NBA, but there is one on today. Game 4 of the NBA Finals, Lakers Heat. Heat was able to steal Game 3 very, very convincingly. I was very impressed by their performance. Jimmy Butler putting up 40 big points. Very good. All right, now let's talk about the injuries real quick. Bam Adebayo, he is questionable. So it is kind of most likely, I think he may try to get in the starting lineup. Goran Dragic, he's done. He's gone for. He's probably not going to play at all this entire series. Even if it goes 7, even if it went 20, he's probably not going to play in the series. But Bam Adebayo is potentially able to play in this game. We'll check the line in a second, see if Vegas has any insider information. If the line dips from 9.5, which I think it will still be, because I don't think both players are going to be playing in this game. I think Bam Adebayo will be good for Game 5. I don't think quite for Game 4, and Goran Dragic is definitely not playing the series. So if the line dips from like 9.5, how it's been with both those players out, Bam Adebayo, Goran Dragic both being out, it's 9.5. If it dips to about like that 7.5, then we can kind of expect Bam Adebayo to be playing. Vegas may know something. But if, all right, let's break it down, these scenarios. If Bam Adebayo is not going to play, like he hasn't played in game number 3, we have to go Lakers are going to kind of stomp. Lakers frustrated, upset. They did not play very well in game number 4. LeBron with 25 points, Anthony Davis with 15. So definitely have to get more production from Anthony Davis. He only took 9 shots last game. What was that? So he definitely has to, get back into his rhythm. And we've kind of seen him, take a couple of games off here and there in these playoffs, but nothing to be worried about. He'll get right back on track. That's kind of what the Lakers do. They come out big for some games, and then they'll kind of fall short, come out flat a little bit for a game, but then they pick it up right back in the same intensity that they played in games 1 and 2. I see it here in game number 4. I don't see LeBron, taking a commanding 2-0 lead and then getting tied up 2-2. Don't see that happening. I also don't see Jimmy Butler putting up 40 points again. He has been very impressive this series. He has been very aggressive this series early on, so I can definitely respect that. But so far in the playoffs, we haven't really seen him put back-to-back spectacular performances together. He hasn't needed to in these playoffs, so maybe it's do or die time. He's bringing out all the stops. We just haven't seen it, so I'm not expecting it. So we're going to go Lakers here in game number 4. I think LeBron James and Anthony Davis rebound. They combine for 70 again. But we have to see how the supporting cast for the Lakers kind of shakes out. I mean, really, it's a crapshoot. Any game, who's going to step up? We really don't know. We saw KCP step up in games 1 and 2, but he came out flat in game number 3 with only, 5 points? Non-factor. But then in game number 3, we saw Markieff Morris and Kyle Kuzma both put up 19 points. That's very good. But once again, when Kyle Kuzma plays well, Danny Green does not play well. So, I mean, we really don't know what we're going to get from the supporting cast of the Lakers. That is the one big question mark when we're looking at these Lakers games and when we're betting them. We know what LeBron and Anthony Davis are going to do. So, got to get some good supporting cast help from the Lakers. Hopefully, LeBron is, coaching them, coaching these young guys, these, these role players for the Lakers. Hopefully, he's like, hey, don't fuck with my legacy, please. I need y'all to go and put up 20 points. All of you, put up 20 points, please. Or just 10. Just give me 10 plus. I need everybody here to give me at least 10 plus points if you're seeing the floor, and that's all I ask for. And I don't think that's not unreasonable to ask. So let's check this line, see if we get any more information on this Bam Adebayo injury. So far, he is questionable. He's been upgraded. Usually it was doubtful in game number 3, but now it's upgraded to questionable. So that's why I say he could potentially go. And wow, look at this. It's now 7.5. Now, do we attribute the line dropping from 9.5 to 7.5 because Miami Heat won game 3? Or because Bam Adebayo is coming back? I would put it more in the favor of Bam Adebayo going back. If you've been kind of watching our show throughout the entire playoffs, we've seen that Vegas really doesn't change the lines in these game series, these playoff series, these 7-game playoff series. We've seen Heat, be +3 against the Bucks and +1.5 against the Celtics, and then the Heat win, and then they would go up to like Heat +5 the next game, and we're like, hey, they just won, but they're still the underdogs. Like, what is that? So I think the 7.5 is not because the Heat won the game. I think it's because Vegas knows Bam Adebayo is going to play this game, so that is going to change our minds just a little bit. the Heat, big time decisions in game number 3. They were able to kind of shut Anthony Davis down without having a beef down low. That was huge for the Heat. So now you're adding Bam back into the starting lineup. He's going to be the beef down low, and now they found out how to win without having a beef down low. So that's just going to help the Heat even more. 7.5 here in a finals game. Heat having so much momentum coming into this game. I think I like the points here. I think I like the Heat winning the game overall, but you're giving me the Heat in 7. The Heat never disappoint, really, when you take the points with them, especially here in the finals game. I'll take 7, I think. I think the Heat win it, but Heat plus 7.5. I think Bam Adebayo plays. We'll take Heat plus 7.5 here, but I think the Lakers win it. Heat keep it close though. Coming off their win, we'll have it Lakers win, but Heat cover with the 7.5, and that's how I think this game is going to shake out. Game number 4, pivotal game for LeBron James. Go up 3-1, take a commanding lead, or now you're looking at 2-2. You've got no momentum, and now your legacy is slowly starting to slip from your grasp that you had it in. Firm grasp at 2-0, and everybody was hitting, but the Lakers supporting cast did not look so great in game number 3, including Anthony Davis. Not great. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll break that down tomorrow on the show. We'll be watching it. 9 o'clock tip-off. It's going to be a good one, y'all. LeBron James in a kind of a do or die. You don't want to go down. You don't want to be tied 2-2 against the hungry, kind of now underdog mentality Miami Heat team. So we'll see what's in store, what LeBron James is going to bring to the table, and what Anthony Davis is going to bring to the table tonight. I'm expecting big things, but we'll take the Heat plus 7.5. I think Bam plays. I do think he plays. Alrighty. Before we update our cash and trash list for the NFL, and before we reveal our power rankings, we have to finish talking about the Week 4 games. They finally wrapped up yesterday. 2 games on. Chiefs-Patriots, that was supposed to be played on Sunday with Cam Newton, but Cam Newton gets COVID. Patriots have to wait for tests to come back. They're all still negative, thank God. So they were able to kind of push the game back one day. Not terrible, but Patriots Chiefs played last night, and the Patriots, I mean, without Cam Newton, that offense, watching that game, it looked really pathetic. So I find it so comical that during the offseason, everybody was like, oh, Cam Newton's not even going to be the starter. Are you Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer? Did you watch them last night? They combined for like 4 turnovers, and you really thought that Cam Newton wasn't going to win the starting job? Let's be a little serious. That was a non-story. That was never a true story that really should have been even talked about. Cam Newton, obviously, he's going to be the starter. He really just proved it. This Patriots offense just looked pathetic. They cannot move the ball at all. The defense kept them in it in the first half. I mean, we're talking about a 6-3 game going into halftime. Chiefs really couldn't do anything offensively, and every time they tried to, they were fumbling the ball or they had to settle for field goals. So I definitely give a lot of credit to Bill Belichick for his game plan defensively. They locked up the Chiefs, but when you're not scoring points in these, your defense is holding them to only 3, this high-powered, fast-paced, score whenever the hell we want Kansas City Chiefs team, the defense is holding them to field goals, getting turnovers. I mean, we saw Sammy Watkins fumble the ball when they were driving, y'all. They were driving on New England's own 23-yard line, and then they fumbled. So gave up a ton of points there that could have potentially been big points for the Chiefs. And this was in the first half, so it's still competitive at this point. So, I mean, the defense at some points just like, gee, it doesn't even matter what we do because the offense, they just cannot score. They put up 3 points, and Brian Hoyer made a kind of backup quarterback mistake right at the end of half. Patriots, no timeout, right on the Kansas City's 9-yard line, no timeouts, clock winding down, 33 seconds left. I mean, you've got to throw the ball away, but he takes a crucial sack. They have no time to go up and spike it. They have no timeouts, so now they're in field goal position. Brian Hoyer takes a sack, and they leave 3 points on the board, potentially tying it up at 6 at halftime. So that's kind of just one instance of this Patriots offense just being so lackluster without Cam Newton. It's really just it's truly unfortunate to see, because Patriots with Cam Newton versus the Chiefs would have been a fantastic game, but then we get Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham really kind of ruining it. Offense is going nowhere. We're looking at 3 and out, a minute and 26 seconds, 5 plays, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, not going anywhere. And then the interception by Brian Hoyer starts, and then the end of half blunder by Brian Hoyer again. So the defense is just like, please, somebody step up at quarterback. Please somehow jumpstart this offense, because the defense is doing its job. You held the Chiefs to 6 points in the first half. That's truly amazing. Plus, you got a fumble, you got a turnover, but you only created 3 points off of it. This Patriots offense has no identity with Cam Newton, and you can't even blame it, because we're looking at Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham. We knew these quarterbacks are not good. That's why Brian Hoyer is a career backup, and that's why Jarrett Stidham is a third string. So Patriots offense could not do anything all game. Then they fumble when they have a promising drive. We're looking at a 13-play, 7-minute killer drive. This is what the Chargers did. They kept Patrick Mahomes on the field when they made it a close game, but then in the fourth quarter, I mean, you leave a minute 30 seconds left for Patrick Mahomes, and that's too much time. So Patriots, Bill Belichick, they had the right game plan. Keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, put him on the sidelines. Do not let that explosive offense work. But then, the defense, they tried their best, but then in the third quarter, it just all came crashing down. We get Patrick Mahomes able to score a touchdown. Patriots come back and answer real quickly. This was a very impressive drive, but then things go not so great in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes once again scores, and then a pick six, and then another interception, and then a punt, and then they punt, and then turnover, and then it just got out of hand by then. But their offense, the Patriots offense, could not take advantage of the fantastic defensive game plan that Bill Belichick came up with to keep the Chiefs to only 6 points in the first half. It just got all out of hand when the interceptions and the turnover started to show for New England, and that was bound to happen. I mean, these quarterbacks, Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham, you can't trust them. Let's look at Patrick Mahomes' stats here. 19 of 29, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, no pick. Pretty clean game from him. Just took a little bit of a while for the Chiefs offense to really find the rhythm and get going. And that's what we've seen by the Chiefs, but that's the one thing that kind of impresses me. Remember when Chiefs faced Baltimore? I liked the Chiefs in that game because they faced adversity just a week before, where the Ravens were just stomping opponents by putting up 33 points the first 2 weeks. So now the Chiefs get another kind of added adversity kind of ticket here, if you will. 6 points in the first half, going kind of toe-to-toe with a Cam Newton-less Patriots team, but then they find a way to just turn it on in the fourth quarter, turn it on late in the third quarter. They find out ways to get it jump started. So this Kansas City Chiefs team can really strike at any time, and they're finding ways to win games, tough games, last second quarterback changes games, and I respect the hell out of it. They're now 4-0, and this adversity is going to help them later down the road when it's week 17 and it's a crucial win to really secure home field advantage, or it's second round of the playoffs and they're down 4 going into half. The Chiefs know how to win. They did it in the Super Bowl, down 10 in the fourth quarter, come back and win it, and they've been doing it here in the regular season. 2 games out of these first 4, Chiefs kind of close, kind of questionables throughout the entire game, but that fourth quarter they turn it on. Love what I'm seeing for the Chiefs. Very promising. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a very solid game, 16 rushes, 64 yards, averaging 4 yards a carry, not bad. Travis Kelce, the leading receiver for the Chiefs, with 70 yards, and then the explosiveness, the fastness, the quickness. Possibly, I would put him in the top 3 best receivers in the NFL, in the league right now. Tyreek Hill, his speed is just unmatched, and he can get open whenever he wants, and the big arm by Patrick Mahomes complements each other so well. Love what they bring. We'll check the Patriots real quick. I mean, we know Sony Michel didn't play, but look at this. Damian Harris with 100 yards rushing for them. That's kind of what we expected the Patriots to do. Run the ball. Don't rely too much on, your quarterbacks, because their backup quarterbacks can't rely on them anyway, and they put up 190 yards combined. So not the best, with 4 turnovers and only 1 touchdown. Brian Hoyer, an interception and a fumble, and Jarrett Stidham just doing it the classy quarterback way, just throwing the interceptions himself. So just not the offense just was not productive all game for the Patriots, and that's exactly what we expect with no Cam Newton. And this offense is really kind of tailored to basically the minuscule, the molecule, I would say, to Cam Newton. So Chiefs get the win, and they're looking good. So unfortunate we did not get to see the Cam Newton-Patrick Mahomes matchup. In this matchup between Brian Hoyer, Jared Stidham versus Patrick Mahomes really did not look good at all. All right, but that was one of the games on last night, and the second one was Aaron Rodgers, and thank God we got some great quarterback play from one game, right? Patrick Mahomes really didn't turn it on until the second half, but Aaron Rodgers was good to go throughout the entire game. Absolutely fantastic by him. He goes 27 of 33 for 327 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Absolutely fantastic. All right, let's see who the leading receiver is this week. I mean, we're seeing Aaron Rodgers get the ball out to a new wide receiver for 100 yards every single game. Week 1, it was Devontae Adams, but he hasn't been healthy since. Last week, it was Allen Lazard, but he's out this week. He's not healthy. So who do they turn to this week? Well, it's the own Robert Tonyan. Absolutely fantastic. 6 targets, 6 receptions, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. What is going on? Aaron Rodgers is just like, all right, you this week, come here. You're the new wide receiver. You're the new number 1 wide receiver. Just line up and catch whatever the hell I throw to you. And they're all like, yes, I will catch anything for the GOAT. No worries. So Aaron Rodgers is just absolutely fantastic here. Once again, no big name receiver. We're not talking about a DK Metcalf. We're not talking about a Julio Jones. We're not talking about a Kelvin Johnson. We're talking about Robert Tonyan and Allen Lazard. What year is this? So absolutely, Aaron Rodgers is just impressing me. Tomorrow when we do our in-depth analysis, we'll take it once again, a random Aaron Rodgers touchdown drive. Watch this man work once again, because he puts up 30 points and he puts up 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. And he finds a new receiver to have fun with. In this game, it was Robert Tonyan. Aaron Jones, once again, a very good rushing game, 15 carries for 71 yards. This Green Bay offense may be the best offense in the league. Aaron Rodgers really trusting his head coach. I'm forgetting his name, unfortunately. But they really got something spectacular cooking up in Green Bay. And you kind of look at what Mike McCarthy did, basically in Aaron Rodgers' entire career, and you're like, that was really only 1 Super Bowl. Now we get McFleur, something McFleur, LaFleur, the head coach for the Green Bay Packers. You're looking the first 2 years under him, and you're like, damn, 13-3 NFC Championship game, and now 4-0 to start the season. Again, coming off that 13-3 year, where we're seeing teams that had great success last year kind of taking big steps back. Texans, 49ers have been injured, but you get the point. But this Green Bay team is like, hey, we're good. We're still good. Aaron Rodgers is like, it doesn't matter about wide receivers when you got a great quarterback that can really put it on the money wherever he wants it. So Aaron Rodgers, once again, just proving his MVP case, and it's really tight between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. I don't know who I have to give it to now. I was big into Russell Wilson these first 3 weeks, but then I get this game, and he's doing it with all these different receivers, and I think I have to respect it a little more. I think Aaron Rodgers might be overtaking Russell Wilson for that MVP spot. We'll see what happens next week. But, man, Aaron Rodgers, he's a bad man. Now that Tom Brady's in the NFC, this man's really just trying to step his game up. Be like, oh, that's your GOAT? Okay. I'll show you what I do. No interceptions through the first 4 weeks, where Tom Brady, the GOAT, is throwing pick sixes every other week. What is going on there? So Green Bay, they got out to a great start. First touchdown on their first drive, very well done. Then we get a turnover on downs, but it doesn't kill them. They come out and score 2 other touchdowns. So they score on 3 of their 4 possessions, and those scores were all touchdowns. That's truly fantastic. That's exactly what you want to see. Putting up touchdowns, not settling for field goals, and scoring on basically every single drive. The turnover on downs, what happened here? It's a 4th and goal on Atlanta's 1, and they don't get it. Unfortunate, but they took the gamble. Great risk. It would have been high reward, but unfortunately, they do give up 3 off of the turnover on downs. So you allow them to march down the field a little bit, but you hold them to a field goal, not bad. And then you add 2 touchdowns after that. So very well done. They just score all the time. Coming out of half, they do have to punt, but then they come back and score a touchdown, 27-9 at that point. Then they score a field goal on a drive in the fourth quarter. Long drives. Look at this, 10-play, 7-minute drive. Just absolutely killer, especially coming off an Atlanta drive where they just took 7 minutes. So, offense is just driving down the field. Green Bay just put up points basically on every single possession, where the Falcons kind of struggled a little bit here. 3 and out. Then they have to settle for a field goal on their first 3 drives, and then they come back with a 3 and out, and then it's the half. So took a little bit to kind of score. Maybe Atlanta was going with the game plan, was like, hey, we can't take a lead because we'll fucking blow it. Maybe if we come from behind, we'll have better success. Unfortunately, it doesn't kind of work that way when you're going against Aaron Rodgers. Maybe if you were going against the Giants or Washington, yeah, go ahead, give them a 20-point cushion because they'll blow it, definitely. And you guys can definitely come back, but that strategy does not work when you're facing a high-powered Aaron Rodgers offense who can score at will. Let's look at Matt Ryan, what he did. 28 of 39, 285 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. I mean, nothing great, nothing bad, nothing trash, nothing cash. It's a solid performance, but this is a solid losing performance. Todd Gurley, 16 rushes for 57 yards, not terrible, just right around the average, 3.5 yards a carry, but he put up 2 touchdowns. So using him down at the goal line situations is where he really thrives, and Matt Ryan was kind of able to lead drives down very close to the goal line, and Todd Gurley just sets it up. Julio Jones left midway through this game, but he only had 4 catches for 32 yards. Then we get Calvin Ridley. I mean, he's been making big plays. He's been having like close to 100 yards basically every game, putting up 90s, 80s, 100s. So he's having a very good season. But so in this game, 5 targets, no catches, no yards, not very good. Their leading receiver was Olamide Zacchaeus. That sounds like a Green Bay receiver that we'd call out next week that Aaron Rodgers just gave 4 touchdown passes to, right? So overall, this Green Bay team is so freaking good. Aaron Rodgers, I think he's my new MVP through 4 weeks. I think he is. I think I have to give it to him. No interceptions, truly flawless. They're just winning and putting up the points and looking good doing it. Really no contest throughout these first 4 weeks. They're winning, and they're winning convincingly. Big on this Packers team. Aaron Rodgers is like, hey, I'm getting a fucking ring. I'm getting another one. I don't care. All right, so we're kind of all caught up basically through the week. We had a good solid foundation going through the first, we did go through all the Sunday games yesterday to set us up for the week. Tomorrow we will do our in-depth film analysis on some more interesting drives. We'll look at the Packers, random drive. What else do we got to look at? Not going to look at Jets-Broncos, I'll tell you that. We got to see what's going on with Kyler Murray. We'll go a little in-depth in this game tomorrow. And maybe look at Teddy Bridgewater, finally able to go 2-2. Well done. I'll see what Nick Foles look like. If the accuracy is still not good, we have to bail on the Bears big time. We'll look at Joe Burrow, him getting his first win. We won't spend too much time on this Cleveland-Dallas game because it was just a lot of turnovers that really led to short fields for Baker Mayfield, set up by trick plays. We talked about it. So won't spend too much time on that game. We might look at the Saints a little bit. We'll look at the Texans tomorrow. Maybe the Seahawks. We'll see how Tom Brady's doing. 5 touchdowns, very good. We'll see how he's looking. Not going to learn too much from Ravens, Washington. Giants, Chargers. I want to know why the Chargers only put up 17 points, so we'll go into them a little bit. We'll give Josh Allen some due respect here tomorrow. We'll look at him, seeing how he's doing because he's looking real good, y'all. And we'll see how Carson Wentz only turned the ball over once. So we'll have some good film study tomorrow, but we have to finish up today. We'll start with the cash and trash list. Now that we've seen everybody play, we can start judging them and seeing if they were cash or if they were trash. So here it is. This was... going into this week, this was the cash list. We had Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Allen Lazard, Steelers defense, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Jefferson, Sonny Michel, and Derrick Henry. So let's see who stays and who goes and who gets back on this list. So first one, we are going to start at the top with Patrick Mahomes. We just saw him last night. We got to take him off. Nothing spectacular, nothing bad. It was just a very good performance. I'm not going to call it cash list tier, though. 19 of 29, we just said it, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, very well done. And he also didn't fumble the ball, which is very important. So great game by Patrick Mahomes, but it was against, Steelers with no Cam Newton. A little underwhelming a little bit. Good performance, but we are going to take him off the cash list. All right, let's go to Russell Wilson now. He was at Miami last week on Sunday, and I've been kind of rocking. Officially, I have it written down as nothing. I skipped over it because I was waiting to really live for the last second to really put it on here. But 24 of 34 for 360 yards. 2 touchdowns. The pick is what's sending me. Maybe we take him off. But on the road, he's having great success. And yeah, this 24 completions for 360 yards. I mean, so far, most of these quarterbacks are putting up dink and dunk numbers like averaging 10 yards or below. But Russell Wilson here, 24 completions for 360 yards. I mean, that's close to like 15 yards a pass. Absolutely fantastic. I think I'm going to leave him on. We'll leave him on here this week. All right, Allen Lazard, he's injured, so unfortunately we can't judge him anymore, so we are going to have to take him off the cash list. Unfortunate. Steelers defense, a little bit of a different situation with Allen Lazard. He's injured and can't play. Steelers defense, they just got, they just got the wrong team at the wrong time, unfortunately. They have to face the Titans. Titans have a COVID outbreak. They can't play the game. So we are going to keep the Steelers defense on this cash list and see what they do next week. Aaron Rodgers, we just saw that bad man last night, and you know what he did. 27 of 33 for 327 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and he was just looking fantastic, scoring in every single quarter, driving in every single quarter. It was a full 60 minutes of great Aaron Rodgers play, kind of what we're accustomed to. That's why he's been putting up 40, 30 points every single game. So we are going to leave Aaron Rodgers on. Very well done. All right, let's go to Justin Jefferson now for Minnesota. They get their first win. Very well done. 4 catches, 103 yards. Very solid game. No touchdowns, though. So I am going to take him off the cash list. Not scoring. Just a good game overall, though. We will take him off the cash list. All right, Sonny Michel, just like, who was it? Allen Lazard. Sonny Michel is injured, can't prove his cash list worthiness, so we are going to have to take off Sonny Michel, unfortunately, as well. And just like the Steelers defense, Derrick Henry can't play, unfortunate circumstances, so we will leave him on. All right, so let's go to the additions now on the cash list. We do have a couple. The first one is going to come from the Cincinnati-Jacksonville game, and it's going to be the man that ran absolutely wild on him, Joe Mixon, 25 carries for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns. Fantastic. Joe Mixon having himself a game, helping out, the rookie Joe Burrow get his first win. So great passing game, great running game. The mix was just too much for Jacksonville to overcome. So Joe Mixon, welcome to the cash list, my man. First of the season for him. And you got to love it. You got to love it. You love to see it. Very well done for Sunday's game. Very well done. 10-4. Alrighty, the second edition of the cash list, it's going to be from this Dallas Cowboy Cleveland Browns game. And no, we're not doing Dak Prescott, who put up 500 passing yards. We are going to do Odell Beckham. This man absolutely wrecked the game. He broke the game wide open early. They got it to him early. They got it to him often. Rushing the ball, receiving the ball, trick play, real play, down the field, up the field, behind the line of scrimmage, letting him run for 50. Absolutely magnificent. He scored 3 touchdowns in total, 73 rushing yards. Combine that with 81 passing yards for 3 touchdowns. Odell Beckham, my man, fantastic game in the biggest kind of stage you can get kind of in the regular season in Dallas. Oh, very well done. Way to show up. Way to carry this team. Way to make it so Baker Mayfield didn't have to carry the load himself. Got it to him quick. Got it to him often. Odell Beckham Jr., welcome to the cash list, my man. His first of the season. Very well deserved. If I spelled the name wrong, I will fix that after the show. All right, let's continue on. We have 2 more additions now. We are going to go back to Minnesota here. we took one Minnesotan off and we're going to put one on, and we're going to go with Dalvin Cook. This man is really kind of just making it possible for the Vikings to win games, putting up 100 yards rushing kind of consistently here. Very well done. 27 carries for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, running the ball a lot, not letting Kirk Cousins, who's turning the ball over, decide the game. They're going run, and Dalvin Cook is making them pay. 130 yards rushing. I can definitely get behind that. And you're putting up 2 touchdowns. Very well done. Dalvin Cook, welcome to the cash list. And Kirk Cousins, you can thank this man for the win. So Dalvin Cook, welcome to the cash list. His first time on here as well. So give it up for this man. All right, we've got one more addition. All right, let's go to Tampa Bay. What happened? Well, Mike Evans happened. And when you have Mike Evans going for 122 yards and catching 7 of 8, you're going to pretty much win the game. Touchdown, 122 yards. Tom Brady targeting this man. That's what we love to see. A good Mike Evans is dangerous. I mean, that would probably be Mike Evans, the second best receiver Tom Brady has ever played with. Randy Moss obviously being, the best. But Mike Evans, I mean, this man's tall, he's fast, he's been waiting. I mean, he's been doing work with Jameis Winston, and Tom Brady is a huge upgrade over Jameis Winston. So Mike Evans getting involved in this offense, we loved it. 2 touchdowns last week, both, on the goal line for 1 yard, and now he's still going, getting it to him often. 8 targets, 7 receptions, 122 yards. I love to see it. Big time Mike Evans, very well done. All right, let's go to the bad side of the list, the trash list. We do have some additions, we do have some removals, and we do have some keeps on here. So let's go through the list. This was the trash list going into this week. Carson Wentz finally gets his first win, and he only throws 1 interception, so we can definitely celebrate that a little bit. So we are going to take Carson Wentz off. He went 18 of 22, 193 yards. Not great. Really not that good. If you're not throwing for at least 200 yards in this league, what are we doing here, folks? So Carson Wentz not good in that department, but game manager, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Didn't turn the ball over as much as the 49ers did, and that's how they win. They just don't turn it over as much as the 49ers did. So well done to Carson Wentz, not blowing the game. Kind of almost early you blew it, throwing that pick early, but thankfully 49ers cannot cash in. So well done to Carson Wentz, getting your first win of the season. Now I believe they're first in the NFC East because of this win. Absolutely wild. Carson Wentz no longer trash. Not good. I mean, that's definitely not even close to cash list worthy, but it's not trash list. You're able to get your first win, and I can respect that. Alrighty, Dan Quinn. We put coaches on this trash list last week, and we have to keep it up because Dan Quinn is still not winning games. I expect him to be fired. Do not be surprised if come 5 o'clock, kind of when Bill O'Brien got fired last night, if Dan Quinn is out the door as well. This Falcons offense is really talented, and they just can't win. Dan Quinn, as I said, he has this funk of on him. He's losing games when he's had leads. That's bad. That's real bad. Real bad. So Dan Quinn has this losing funk attached to him, doing it in the Super Bowl, now doing it in the regular season in games that they've had 16-point leads in. That is very inexcusable. This was a tough game to win. I mean, we're talking about going into Aaron Rodgers' home stadium. That's never easy, and it's not even easier when Aaron Rodgers is playing as good as he's playing, and the Falcons are coming into this game having blown 2 big leads, and now that's all anybody's talking about. But I love this Falcons offense, but Dan Quinn just can't make it work. Got to get him out of there. He's got to go, but he will stay on the trash list as long as he is still coaching the Falcons, unfortunately, until they get that first win. That looks good. Alrighty, Kirk Cousins now. Let's evaluate him. He's finally able to get his first win of the season, and he didn't turn the ball over at all, so I can definitely get behind that. Plus the 16 completions for 260 yards, kind of what Aaron Rodgers did, going big, not just dinking and dunking, getting more than 10 yards, mostly because Dalvin Cook was setting up the big plays, rushing, defense plays up, Kirk Cousins can take the shot, and he's a serviceable quarterback to do so. I mean, I would trust him to deliver me an on-point 50-yard ball when it's a clean pocket and there's no defenders downfield. Absolutely. So very good job by Dalvin Cook to set up the big passes by Kirk Cousins. Not a great performance by him overall, but just a very solid performance. Definitely not a trash list performance. So we will take Kirk Cousins off. He didn't throw 3 interceptions, and I can get behind that. Alrighty, Adam Gase, yes, he stays on the list. That's all that needs to be said. Jets lose, they look trashed. He will stay on the list. No other words need to be said. All right, we'll talk about Sam Darnold now. He had himself a decent game, not great, not horrible. He didn't turn the ball over, but he also didn't score any touchdowns, and he completed 23 passes for 230 yards. What does that tell you? 10 yards, a completion is good. That's the average. Anything below that is dink and dunk. Anything above 10 yards is per completion is very, very good. So Sam Darnold's right at that average range. No turnovers, no picks, trying to just be a game manager here, and he really has no big pieces. His best receiver is Jamison Crowder, who is a good wide receiver, but they've got no running game, and they've got no really second big wide receiver. And what he's doing, he's setting the tone early, which I can definitely appreciate. We've seen these last 2 weeks, the Jets come out and score a touchdown in their opening drive. First ones to touch the ball, first ones to score. Now, that's very, very good, setting the tone for the offense, but then everything just falls apart after that. Usually, those first 10 plays are scripted, so the scripted plays are working. They're benefiting Sam Darnold, but after that, it's just chaos. So I am going to take Sam Darnold off the trash list. Not a bad performance. They still lost, which, not great, but he didn't look bad, and he didn't look good. He just looked all right, and, sometimes that's good enough. All right. DK Metcalf, he was on the list just because he celebrated early in his, 60-yard bomb pass by Russell Wilson last week, fumbled it right before the end zone because he was celebrating early, but he had himself a very, very good game as well last week, back up to 100 yards receiving. He didn't have any touchdowns, but he had great yards and great targets. 6 targets, 4 catches, so Russell Wilson still believes in the man. We still believe in the man. We think he's top 3 wide receivers in the league. 106 yards for receiving. No touchdowns, unfortunately, but still a great game. We can take him off. All right, we do have a couple of additions, and I'm hammering quarterbacks heavy this week, putting them on the trash list. We have 3 quarterbacks we have to add. The first one is going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. I know we're trying to go kind of slow and steady with Tua, but we have to get Ryan Fitzpatrick out of here. He's just turning the ball over in key situations. First drive interception leads to 7 for Seattle, setting, kind of the opposite of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold setting a good offensive tone while Ryan Fitzpatrick setting a bad one. And we know this about Ryan Fitzpatrick. When he comes off of a very good game, the Fitzmagic game, he's going to come back with a stinker, and he kind of did that here. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, one coming on the first drive, and the second one coming, 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We're down 9. We're trying to make it a game, and you kind of just throw it away. And once again, interception leads to touchdowns, lead 2 points. So, we lose by 8, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's 2 interceptions give us 0 points and give the Seahawks 14. So, you can do the math there. So we are going to put Ryan Fitzpatrick on the trash list. Miami, I know it's a tough call, but we have to go to Tua at some point. The playoffs is kind of still open in the AFC. After 4 weeks, there's an extra playoff spot this year. So I say we go grab that, put Tua in. Ryan Fitzpatrick, just too many mistakes in key moments. Got to put him on the trash list, unfortunately. Thank you for that Thursday Night Football win. Thank you very much. We've honored you. I wore that beard for an entire episode. But now, the magic is gone. We know it's, we know that's kind of your MO. So Ryan Fitzpatrick, got to do better. Got to cut down those interceptions, my man. So we will put him on the trash list. Alrighty, the other quarterback, the second quarterback of 3 quarterbacks going on the trash list is going to be Daniel Jones. Alrighty, here we go. 23 of 36 for 190 yards. 23 completions, 190. What are we doing out there? Dink and dunk. I know you've got no receivers, and that truly sucks, but you really have to step up as the leader. The Rams only put up 17 points. This could have been a game. You got into field goal territory 3 times at least. You put up 3 field goals. So Daniel Jones really just needed to take it upon himself to really be that person that steps up, that takes charge, that be's the leader that this Giants team is desperately looking for. They're looking for anybody just to show some leadership. So Daniel Jones, I get you are a younger quarterback. You've got no real weapons. You just lost your running threat to Saquon Barkley. He's out for the rest of the year. So truly unfortunate, but we have to step up at some time. We have to stop babying these quarterbacks. We have to stop babying these players. These are grown men. They've been doing this their entire lives, playing football. So Daniel Jones got to step it up just a little bit, my man. if you hold the Rams to 17, you look for a chance to win. One interception coming on a game-winning drive. We've seen this time and time again, these long drives for Daniel Jones, ending in interceptions, ending in field goal attempts. Daniel Jones got to get it together, my man. Got to get it together. Interception on 2nd and 5 on the Chargers 18, going to potentially tie up the game. I mean, we see the Giants literally every week, I think, except for last week when they got absolutely blown out. I mean, they're going for game-winning drives basically every time in the fourth quarter, but Daniel Jones either throwing an interception or can't get it done on 4th down. So Daniel Jones, we got to put you on the trash list, unfortunately. I don't like putting anybody on here, but from what we've been seeing, I don't know what the hell just happened there. But we will undo. There we go. Get it back to that good formatting. Jesus. Alrighty. Here we go. I'm hitting every other button except the ones that I need to. Daniel Jones, I think I spelled that wrong too, but I'll fix it later. Before we post it to the website, takesbyfans.com, these updated lists will be on there at the end of the show. All right. Our last quarterback that we're going to add to the trash list, unfortunately, it's going to be Nick Mullins. Just an absolute garbage performance. You're facing against the Eagles and you're turning it over 4 times. Nick Mullins, 18 of 26 for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Then he had that key fumble that really got him pulled from the game in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, look at this. Look at this. The game is 11-14. You've got the lead. Your fumble leads to a touchdown. So Nick Mullins got to step it up a little bit. I get it. You know, you're a backup quarterback filling in for Jimmy Garoppolo while he's out, but you had a good game last week. You know, everybody loves you. People are calling you better than Garoppolo for some weird reason. People love to overreact. But Nick Mullins here kind of lost your squad, the team. You could have been 3-1 potentially. You know, this Eagles team is not hard to beat. You were leading going into the fourth quarter, but then the interceptions, the turnover started to show, and you weren't clutch. So Nick Mullins, welcome to the trash list. You probably won't be on here long, not because you're a good quarterback, but because Jimmy Garoppolo is going to return very soon. So we could probably take you off next week because you will not be playing. So that's going to round it out for the trash list, updated cash and trash list. Congratulations to all the cash players, and unfortunate for all the trash ones. We'll see how they do next week and update it accordingly. Alrighty, so our main segment on Tuesdays is the power rankings. Let's update this top 10. We do have some moving around to do, so let's get right off to it. This was the power rankings going into this week, and based on what I saw, the numbers, the film, all of that combined, let's get our new top 10 here. So our new number 10 team is no longer the Buffalo Bills. We've got a team dropping, y'all. The new number 10 team is the New England Patriots. They had no Cam Newton, and when they had no Cam Newton, their offense is truly trash. Also, no Sonny Michel, hurting their running game. But their defense, I really loved what I saw from it, especially in the first half. When you're holding the Chiefs to only 6 points in the first half, that game plan is working. It's just, unfortunately, the defense was seeing no results offensively from all their great work, so they just get discouraged. They get down on themselves. They're like, why the hell are we doing this? We see that with the Bears last year, just kind of bailing on Mitch Trubisky. The defense was carrying the Bears, but Mitch Trubisky was not helping offensively. So, the Bears defense, they tank a little bit because they get discouraged. I kind of saw that against with the Patriots last night. Doing very, very good things in the first half, shutting down Patrick Mahomes, keeping him off the field, but then the turnover by Brian Hoyer really changes everything, and the Patriots, they're still good, and with Cam Newton being, sidelined probably for only maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, he'll be back, they'll still be fine. Patriots drop down to number 10, though, because, we have to judge it by week-to-week basis, and without Cam Newton, they obviously struggle. So we will drop them down to number 10, but their defense really are saving them for keeping them in our top 10. Alrighty, number 9 is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Unfortunately, they did not play this week because, they got tested positive with COVID. So we are going to drop them down one spot here from number 8 to number 9. And it's not anything they did. Obviously, we are going to still keep them in the top 10, even though they didn't play. This is no fault of their own, so we're not going to penalize them too much on our power rankings. But we just liked what we saw from some other teams better, so we can move them up. Unfortunately, Tennessee does have to drop one spot, though. Hopefully, they play this week against Buffalo, so we can start judging them again, because, missing a week, it sucks. It truly does. So Titans at 9. All right, the new number 8 team is going to be the Tampa Bay Bucks, so they move up a spot here. Loved what I saw from Tom Brady, not in the first half, but in that second half to come back, to show the resilience, coming off of a pick 6, overcoming that as well, overcoming 2 big bombs by Justin Herbert, that defense by Tampa Bay pressing up a little too much, Justin Herbert taking advantage, and Tom Brady able to overcome all of that in the second half. So I can definitely get behind that. I love what they're doing offensively. Great runners in Jones having 100 yards rushing, and then Tom Brady throwing 5 touchdowns, 1 to Mike Evans, getting all those good pieces involved. Now the one downside, O.J. Howard has just been diagnosed with a torn ACL, so he is out for the entire year. That is definitely going to hurt Tampa Bay a little bit. But when we saw in the game, he's I forgot the tight end that Tom Brady went to besides O.J. Howard. Cameron Brate, he caught a good touchdown pass as well. Plus, you still have Gronk who can catch. So, O.J. Howard being out, yes, it does suck because he's tall, big. He's tall, he's big, and he's fast at the tight end position. But they still have some good serviceable pieces, Gronk and Brate, at that backup tight end spot. I don't think it's gonna hurt them too much. But I liked what I saw from Tom Brady last week. We will put Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the number 8 team. Get this spelled right. Maybe not. Alrighty. Number 7. Let's keep this moving. We are going to keep the Rams at number 7. They won the game. I can give them props for that. But them only putting up 17 is a little bit of a red flag for me, especially against a Giants defense that's truly not great. Let's look at these stats. Jared Goff, 25 of 32 for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. We're talking about dinking and dunking on the Giants. What is going on? No rusher over 40 yards. What is going on with that? Malcolm Brown with only 37 yards and Darrell Henderson with 22. So combining for about 60 yards rushing, not great. And then you had no great receiver. Cooper Kupp was your number 1 for 70 yards and a touchdown. That's good. Number 2, Robert Woods, 35 yards, but just no big plays, no big playmakers. You only put up 17 points against the not great Giants team. You let them just stay around and have a chance to, go down and score a touchdown. We just talked about it with Daniel Jones being on the trash list. This man was driving down the field. He got to your 18-yard line. Thank God your defense stepped up finally on that drive and picked him off. But, you let the Giants hang around. A little concerning, a little bit of a red flag, but I am going to keep them at number 7. I still like their offense and what their potential is. I still like Sean McVay, but that 17 is a little bit of a red flag. Hopefully, and I'm not going to penalize the team for winning a close game. I'm just not going to penalize them. I'm not going to drop them off, but they'll stay at number 7. We'll see what they bring next week. Alrighty, number 6. This is our biggest jump of the week, up or no, that might be a lie. This is our biggest jump forward because I think the Patriots were the bigger jump backwards. But the new number 6 team, I didn't forget about the Buffalo Bills, y'all. Very well done to Buffalo Bills. Now, the one reason why I'm putting them on this list is because Josh Allen is not turning the ball over. I love everybody on Twitter is arguing Josh Allen was getting disrespected his first 2 years in the season, and now everybody wants to be on Josh Allen. Y'all need to apologize. And I'm like, no. All that criticism was so fair. Do not get me started. Josh Allen is not turning the ball over now, which is fantastic. That's why the team is winning games, and that's why they're being competitive against good teams. The Rams, the 2-2 Oakland Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders. Excuse me. What I just did was commit the ultimate cardinal sin there, calling them Oakland Raiders, but the Las Vegas Raiders, good wins there on the road. So good job by Josh Allen not turning the ball over. But can we stop with this that we need to apologize to Josh Allen? I mean, can we look at his first 2 years in the league, please? First year, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Yes, he's turning the ball over. Second year, he cleaned it up a lot, not throwing interceptions, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But let's look at these fumble numbers, shall we? Because we're talking about 14 of them, y'all. 14 second year, 8 first year, so he's turning the ball over. I mean, we're criticizing this man very, very, very fairly. We're giving this man a lot of praise his third year because he's cutting down these interceptions and fumbles. He's not fumbling, except for game 1. That's kind of why I had hesitations putting them on our power rankings early this season, because he fumbled twice his first game, and then he still fumbled last week against the Rams in the fourth quarter because of a sack. So he still is having a little bit of trouble holding onto the ball. 3 fumbles so far this season, but he's playing a lot better. He's not turning it over through interceptions, and he's cleaning up the fumbles a little bit. Hasn't seen really multiple fumbles since week 1, and last week the strip sack, it just happens. I can kind of forgive that. So we don't need to apologize to Josh Allen. Please get out of here with that nonsense. All of these criticisms are fairly justified on him. He's cleaning up his game, which is exactly what we want. We want quarterbacks taking that step year after year after year, getting better, getting more touchdowns, cutting down on the interceptions, getting more yards, getting better completion percentage. We don't want to see quarterbacks taking steps back or just continuing on doing the same thing every year. So I'm giving a huge credit to Josh Allen for cleaning up his game, and I do so by putting them at the number 6 position in our power rankings. But let's stop with this that we all need to, kiss Josh Allen's big toe and forgive him and, apologize. All criticism of Josh Allen has been very, very fair. It has been. So we're not going to be apologizing to Josh Allen. Please stop with that nonsense. All right, let's go to number 5. We saw New England drop from number 5 to number 10. Who is the new number 5 team? Well, we are going to bump the Ravens up a little bit. They got their, swagger back, if you will, last game against Washington. But, I don't think Lamar Jackson threw for 200 yards again. He threw for 193. He had 53 yards rushing. Most of those, 50 of those 53 yards coming off of one great running play. But, they put up 31, getting back comfortably on offense. They gave up 17 to Dwayne Haskins, plus they didn't force him into any turnovers. He may have fumbled. Did he fumble? No, he didn't fumble. So that is a little bit concerning. Not picking off Dwayne Haskins is a little concerning. You should be picking him off at least once. So the Ravens defense, still a little iffy. You give up 17 to Washington, but the offense is good, or back to what we think it is. So we will put Baltimore Ravens here. We'll move them up one spot. Still got to see how they compete against the better teams. We saw, their only one real competition so far has been the Chiefs, and they, not great. That's why they're not in the top 4 anymore. That's why they're not in the top 3 anymore, because they lose that big game against the Chiefs and did not look competitive. So Baltimore, we will move them up one spot because their offense is back to what it is. Alrighty, number 4 is going to stay the Pittsburgh Steelers. We haven't seen them, so we can't really judge them. And what we've seen of them so far is great. I love their defense. Their offense is still as good as I thought it was going to be with Big Ben coming off an injury. Steelers, I would say they've got the best defense in the league, and we're going to rock with them at number 4. They're still 3-0. They didn't play last week, so I'm very, very excited to watch them return to play and hopefully try to move up on this, power rankings a little bit. Alrighty, number 3, I'm going to put the Green Bay Packers. We're going to keep them here at number 3. It's very, very close. They're creeping up to potentially being put into that number 2 position. I'm not moving them up to the number 2 position just yet because they haven't overcame any adversity yet. So I want to see how they kind of, rally around Aaron Rodgers, show that resilience a little bit. They haven't had any kind of early hiccups. They've been absolutely blowing out teams these first 4 weeks. They've been looking very good. Aaron Rodgers is not throwing any interceptions, but we're keeping the Chiefs at 2, and that's why I'm not moving up the Packers to 2 just quite yet, because we've seen the Chiefs kind of struggle a little bit. They struggled against the Chargers, brought it home in the fourth quarter, and then the following week they blew out the Ravens. And now this week, just last night, a little bit questionable early, only 6 points in that first half, but they finally get it together. It's finally going to click at some point. So I love the adversity. The Chiefs are coming. That's why the Packers are staying at 3. That's why the Chiefs are staying at 2. And that's why the Seahawks are staying as my number 1 team. They're looking very, very good. I love Russell Wilson. He's making it work with unknown receivers. DK Metcalf emerging big. We loved him coming into the season, and he's really showing off. Chris Carson, decent running game. Their defense is getting better and better. They are the definition of bend but don't break. We saw the Saints a defense breaking multiple times. They're giving up a lot of points and giving up game-winning drives, where the Seahawks, they are giving up a lot more points than we would like defensively, but they're making it work at the right times. Late in the fourth quarter, early in the third quarter, their defense is locking it down, getting turnovers when they need to, and keep positions, holding Cam Newton back on the 1 yard line for a potentially game-winning play. I love this bend but don't break Seattle defense, and they haven't broke at all. And I love Russell Wilson, what he's doing. Most touchdown passes through the first 4 weeks, but he does have 2 interceptions, I believe, where Aaron Rodgers has none. But, the top 3, it's very, very close. It's very, very tight. Seahawks, Chiefs, Packers really could be flipping, very closely here when teams start facing good talent. I will award that with, the higher seeding. Over a team that's just going against, not great teams. Where, the Packers last night, they faced Atlanta. I want to buy into Atlanta, but they're showing me 0-3, and they're showing me Dan Quinn's not good, and they're showing me their defense isn't good either. Where Seattle, they had to go and face Miami last week, who's a young, hungry team at home. Their defense is getting on par, so I am giving a little extra credit to the Seahawks this week. So this is going to be our updated power rankings. Patriots at number 10, Titans at 9, Tampa at 8, 7 with the Rams, Buffalo at 6, Ravens at 5, Steelers at 4, Packers at 3, Chiefs at 2, and Seahawks at 1. Now let me just go through teams that may be outside looking in. Let's see what we've got. Obviously Broncos, Jets, nowhere near the top 10. Cardinals have been trending down, and I do not like the direction they are heading. Out big, they came out 2-0. Getting the ball to DeAndre Hopkins has been working, but now they've fallen in love with just throwing it to DeAndre Hopkins, and the offense is suffering, and Kyler Murray's turning the ball over. So they are really not even outside looking in anymore. I would probably have had them at number maybe 14 going into this week, but now they're 2-game losses, and you're losing against the Panthers, and you're really not looking good anymore. I'm falling off of the Cardinals. All right, Colts, I will put them in our outside looking in category. Phillip Rivers, he hasn't needed to go out and win these last 3 games. The Colts defense has been very, very good in holding teams to not very high points. We see the Bears here with only 11, and the Colts win by scoring 19. So they're not relying on Phillip Rivers to go win games, but the Colts defense is really helping out this team a lot. So I will see how they are going forward, but I will have this team outside looking in. The Bears, I am not, because this quarterback mess. I mean, you bring in Nick Foles and he can't even put up more than 11 points in his first game starting at home. You've got no good quarterback, so I can't even put you outside looking in. Bengals, Jaguars, 2 bad franchises, but the Bengals are trending up. Joe Burrow gets his first win. I am going to be putting the Browns on the outside looking in category. I loved what they did with just their trick plays to get that offense jump started, to make it easier on Baker Mayfield. The defense forcing 2 turnovers, helping once again Baker Mayfield with the short field. I love what they're doing. Let's see how they look next week, but definitely a potential for a top 10 seed next week. If they win and another team in the top 10 loses, I could switch them out real quick. All right, Saints once again trending back up, finding other pieces to get the ball to besides Michael Thomas. They figured it out. They're spreading the ball around. They're not, or just not getting the ball to Alvin Kamara. I apologize. Kind of what the Cardinals have been falling into. So Saints definitely trending up, and we can look at putting them back in the top 10 soon. Maybe another win or two, and they could be right back there. Vikings, Texans, nowhere near it. Seahawks, obviously, number 1. Dolphins, I mean, we've got to get off of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then once we start winning games, I think our defense is still good. We could potentially make a top 10 run. But it's not going to be for like the next 4 or 5 weeks. We've got to get some good wins under our belt, and we have to move off of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Chargers, Bucks. Yes, Bucks can be outside looking in. Just maybe clean up the defense a little bit, and we can talk about it. Like what I'm seeing from the offense. So Ravens already in the top 10. Washington nowhere even close. Giants nowhere even close. Rams in the top 10. Bills in the top 10. Raiders really not even close. They started off 2-0, but these last 2 weeks, I mean, Patriots kind of figured them out with Darren Waller. Raiders kind of falling into that same trap that the Cardinals are in. They're just going to Waller over and over and over again. It's not working. Got to find other players to get the ball to. So Raiders really not even close outside looking in. All right, Eagles nowhere even close. I mean, they're really not good. And Carson Wentz, I don't even trust him not to throw 2 interceptions a game. I saw that he only threw 1 last game, but I mean, he'll be back to 2. Don't worry, y'all. he will be back to 2. 49ers, they got to get healthy, and then potentially we can start talking about them. Falcons, they're officially done. Dumpster fire. Fire Dan Quinn. You look forward to next season. Try to a quick rebuild defensively because I think the offense is very on point. Packers in the top 10, Patriots in the top 10, Chiefs in the top 10, and Steelers, Titans in the top 10. So a couple of teams outside looking in. You could put, you can call the Browns, you can call the Colts, all outside looking in, potentially getting that top 10 coveted spot in our power rankings next week. Alrighty, that is going to do it today for us here at Takes by Fans. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow in our Wednesday shows. We will go in depth a little bit into some of the more interesting narratives and drives through the past week. So we will be back here, twitch.tv/takesbyfans, takesbyfans.com/watch. We'll be back. We will be there tomorrow, noon Eastern. Follow me on Twitter at TakesByFans. Be a part of the conversation. But with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow, y'all. Come out, come watch, and we'll see you tomorrow.